Hi everyone. Thanks for joining the session today. I hope all of you are well. This is Sharon here from the Zoho marketing team, and I am joined by Saraswati and CJ today. CJ, could you unmute? Sorry, could you? Yeah, thanks. So we have Saraswati and CJ today for the session. Saraswati is a product support engineer from our support team who will be today's speaker, and CJ is one of our leads from the support team. He has joined us to support with the Q&A session. I will be handing the session over to Saraswati once I share some housekeeping notes for us. So, yes, so this webinar is getting recorded. All of you will be receiving the recording to your emails once we conclude the session. All attendees will be on mute by default, so we encourage you to use the Q&A tab right over here to shoot your questions and get them answered by CJ. We will have a live 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minute session of that at the end. And if you have any questions or feedback about the webinars, you can always write to our support team. I have mentioned the email address under the Q&A right now. So that is it from me, Saraswati. Thank you, and over to you. When we end, we'll just end with a couple of announcements per usual. Thank you so much.
Yes, Sharon, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining today's webinar. I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. My name is Saraswati, and I have been a part of Zoho One for the past 3.5 years, and I'm going to be the host for today's session. So, to start the webinar, let's start this with a simple story that we can all relate to. Imagine a person named Alex is arriving in a brand new city. The streets are buzzing with people and bright sign flashes in different language. And Alex's phone battery is almost dead. So with no internet, no map, and no one to ask for direction, Alex feels completely stuck. But then Alex spot a digital guide station at the nearest metro. With no other option, Alex gives it a try. Surprisingly, instead of displaying an overwhelming map, the digital guide station asks structured step by step questions like, are you looking for a landmark, a hotel, or a transportation? Or do you prefer the fastest route or a scenic path? Or would you like the recommendation along the way? So, with every answer, the digital guide refined guidance until Alex has a clear route. And if additional help is needed, a live assistant is just a tap away. So within minutes, Alex is back on track and walking confidently instead of feeling lost. Now imagine this from a customer's perspective. When someone visits your website for help, they don't know like where to start, what to search, or who to contact. And if they can't find help fast, they leave just like lost traveler giving up and turning back. But what if every website has its own digital guide? This is where smart automation in Zoho changes everything. Instead of forcing customers to search through endless FAQs or wait for support, intelligent chatbot guide them effortlessly, just like the digital guide helped our traveler. Zoho does guided conversation act just like the digital guide. It is going to ask structured step-by-step questions so customers can find their answers effortlessly. Zoho Sales IQ bot becomes a virtual assistant. So this is going to engage visitors in real time, answering their question, recommending products, and seamlessly handing off to a live agent when needed. So this feature isn't just about a chatbot automation. This is going to be the future of customer engagement. Because in today's world, every lost customer is a lost opportunity. But with the right digital click, every click can become a lasting conversion. And that brings us to today's discussion. Welcome to Click to Conversion, engaging smarter with Zoho One application. So now that we have seen how a simple guided experience like the digital guide in our story can transform the confusion into a clarity, let's bring this idea into the world of customer support and engagement. So before we get into the technical aspects of each feature, let's take a step back and understand what guided conversation in Zoho Desk and what Zabot and Zoho Sales IQ are, how they differ, and when to use them. So let's start with guided conversation in Zoho Desk. So, guided conversation. Think of this as your customer support decision tree. So, this is going to be an interactive way to guide your customer step by step to find the solution instead of making them search for answers manually. So, instead of filling out a long ticket form, the system is going to ask a simple, structured questions. And based on the responses, it is going to narrow down the issue and suggest the relevant response. Now, let's see, when should you use it? So, when you want to automate customer support and reduce ticket volume, or when customer need structured guidance to troubleshoot issues, or when you want to free up human agent for more complex queries, you can go with this feature. So that's how you can help handle customer effortlessly. But what about engaging with new visitors who lands on your website? This is where Zobot in Zoho Sales IQ takes the stage. Zobot is your real-time engagement assistant. So this is going to engage with your website visitor, leads, and potential customer. So when a visitor lands on your website, Zobot can instantly greet them and start a conversation. So it can answer their queries, suggest product, and collect lead information all in real time. And if visitor needs deeper assistance, Zobot can instantly engage with the right sales or right support team seamlessly. So that's how you can help the new visitor who lands on your website. So now we have seen like how guided conversation work and how Zobot works. So let's break this into see how we can actually build one in Zoho Desk application. Let's see how we can build a guided conversation in Zoho Desk. To do this, I'm heading over to one.zoho.com, and from here, I'm going to access my Zoho Desk application. I know some of you might be hearing this term for the first time, so you might be asking like, what exactly is Zoho One? So basically, Zoho One is an all-in-one suite of application. It's designed to manage every aspect of your business, from sales and marketing to finance and support. So basically, it brings together over 45 plus integrated application. So it's providing you with the tool to run your organization seamlessly from various departments. So if you are looking to enhance your customer engagement or automate your sales processes or streamlining your workflows, Zoho One offers everything you need in a single platform. So now within the Zoho One bundle, let's see how we can access the Zoho Desk guided conversation feature. To do this, I am accessing my Zoho Desk application from my Zoho One bundle. And in case if you are unable to access the application in the My App section, you can also assign the application from the Unassigned App section and include it in your Zoho One bundle. So when I log into the Zoho Desk application, this is how the UI looks. And from here, I'm selecting the settings icon. And under the self-service functionality, I'm selecting the guided conversation. And in this section, you can click on Create Flow to create your new flow. So here you can give your flow a name. So I'm going to give this as Zilka. And you can select the channel, that is in which platform that you would like to deploy this bot, and click on Create Flow. So once we created the flow, this is how it used to look. So this will take you directly to the bot building page where we can start customizing our guided conversation flow. So this will take you directly to the bot building page where we can start designing it. But before designing the flow, we can first understand like what are all the components that are available in guided conversation. So guided conversation are made up of three main components. One is block, the other one is path, then we do have variable. So blocks are the building block of a conversation. They help us to interact with user and take necessary action. Path. So path defines the flow of a conversation based on user's choice. And then we do have variables. So variables are going to store and reuse the information that we collect from the customer during the conversation. So now, uh, let's see, like now let's take a deeper look at block. So in guided conversation, block are classified into two types. One is response block, the other one is action block. So response block are used to interact with the customer on the front end, and they help us to send message, ask questions, and provide choices for the users to select. So here, let's see how we can actually build a guided conversation for Zilker's online hotel booking using these blocks that are available. So when a customer start the conversation, what is the first thing we want to do? So basically, we need to greet them, right? For that, I'm going to use a message block. So here, the message block is classified into two types. One is a text card, the other one is info card. For now, I'm going to use the text card. And I'm going to enter the block name as greeting, and you can enter your message. That is, welcome to Zilker Store. How can I assist you today? And once I enter the message, I can click on save. So that is after greeting the customer, the next step is we need to understand what the customer, that is, we need to gather the information from the customer. That is their basic details. For that, I'm going to use a question blocks. So with this block, we can collect the email address, text information, file uploads such as image, video, audio, and other key customer details. For now, I'm going to use the email address field. So I'm going to give the block name as email, and you can enter the question as. So I'm going to enter the question as enter the email address. So whenever a customer entered their email address, this is going to be stored in this variable, and this variable is called as a block variable in Zoho desk guided conversation. So all the email address that customer is entered is going to be stored in this variable. So based on that, we can reuse them for later. And in case if you want this field to be optional, you can enable the skip block option. So this allows the customer to either enter the email address or skip it. So for now, I'm going to disable the skip block, and I'm going to save and apply this to my flow. So far, we greet the customer and we gather the information. That is, we gather the basic details. Now we need to understand what the customer needs. Are they looking to make a new hotel reservation, or do they need help with an existing booking? So to achieve this request, I'm going to use a choice block, which presents three clear options for the users to select. So here, choice block is classified into three types: a button, dynamic button, and a choice card. A button is a simple clickable option that users can select to proceed with the predefined responses. Then we do have dynamic button. It's a button where the option is going to change dynamically based on customers' data or previous interaction. Then we do have choice card. So choice card is like more like a visually rich card that include text, images, and buttons for the selection. For now, to determine the customer need, I'm going to use a button block. So using the button block, I'm going to ask the customer like, how can I assist you today? With two clear options, that is check the room availability, then need help with an existing booking. And I'm going to add the selection type as single button because I want the customer to select only one option at a time. In case if you want the customer to select multiple options together, you can go with multiple button. And here is the best part. By enabling the create path option, we can direct the customer based on their choice. So let's see how this is going to work. I'm going to enter the block name as customer need. So I enable the create path. So when I enable the create path, it can direct the conversation based on user's choice. Let's say if the customer selects the first option, the chatbot is going to follow one path, and if they select the second option, it's going to follow a different path. So once the customer selects an option, the conversation flows based on customer's choice. Okay, so at this point, we greet the customer, we gather the information, and we provide the choices for the users to select. Now, let's say the customer selects the option, check the room availability. At this point, we need to showcase the list of room types to the customer to capture their interest. For that, I'm going to use a choice card. So choice card is more like a visually rich card that include text, images, and buttons for the selection. So I'm clicking the choice card, and here you can give a block a name, and we have to select the card type here. So if it's a static card, if you want to display a fixed product details to a customer, you can go with the static card. If you want to fetch and display dynamic product details based on customers data or previous interaction, you can go with dynamic card. For now, I'm going to select the card type as static card. And within the card list section, we can add the high quality image of the uh, product or the item, and we can add the product name on the title section. And the subtitle section, we can give a brief highlight about the product. And in the description section, we can add a detailed overview, including the key features in it. And other than these, cards, in case if you want to add any other custom card, you can click on add card fields, and you can add multiple options to it. So I just incorporated the same flow here. Okay, let's see how we can add one. So I'm going to add the card name as independent. And I'm going to select a random image from my browser. So I'm going to add the subtitle. So in the subtitle section, I'm going to add a price of my room. So for the independent, I'm going to add this is 1,500 INR. And like this price is going to be stored in this variable, and this is going to be in the data type of number. So that we can make use of this variable for later use. And in the description section for now, I'm going to add this is test. And in the same way, I'm going to add one more card, that is resort. And I'm going to add an image to it. And in this section, I'm going to add this is 3,500 INR, and this is going to be stored in this variable with the data type of number. And in the description section, I'm going to give this as test 1. Okay, so far we have added the card details with the detailed information to it. So I'm clicking on save. So at this point, we given the choices for the customers to select. Let's say once the customer selects an option. So for now, I'm going to disable the create path option, because once the customer selects the option, I'm going to add another path here. So once the customer selects the option, I'm going to add a slider card to let them choose the number of occupant. For that, I'm going to use the slider card that is available in the question block. So I'm selecting the slider block here. And here I'm going to add the block name as occupant. I'm going to enter the question as enter the occupant. And I'm going to set the minimum value as 1 and the maximum value as 10 and the default value as 10. And this value is going to be stored in the block variable named as occupant. So at this point, we have used some of the response block to engage the customer, gather their information, and guide them towards a decision. Okay, but what if you need to perform a back-end action, such as processing calculation or connecting with third-party application? This is where action block comes into a play. Action block is going to be the backbone of your guided conversation when it comes to changing the course of the flow, performing operations, and connecting with external application. So here in guided conversation, action block are classified into four different types, that is jump block, fork block, operation block, and webhook block. Now let's see how we can incorporate these blocks in our conversation flow. So far, we given the option for the customer to select the occupant. Now let's say, like not every customer interaction follows the same path, right? Some may select one occupant, other may select two. So based on the customer's choice, we need to provide a tailored experience. This is where fork block comes into a play. Fork block allows us to create multiple conversation branches based on customers' input. So it's work more like a if and else kind of structure. Let's see how we can determine the fork block to this flow. To add a fork block, simply click on this block, and I'm going to give the block name as fork. And within the path list section, we can define the criteria that defines multiple paths. So I'm going to add the path name as single. So if the number of occupant equals 1, it is going to follow one path. And I'm going to add another path, that is, if the number of occupant is equals to 2, it is going to follow different path, because if it's equals to 2, I'm going to gather the guest information, and if it's greater than 2, it is going to follow the else path. Okay, so far we segregated the customer based on the number of occupants. So now, before processing the checkout, we might need to perform a back-end calculation such as total price to give them an accurate order summary. This is where operation block comes into a play. Operation block allows us to perform like automatic calculation based on customers' collected data. So here we can use the arithmetic expressions to compute the value dynamically. So I'm going to give the block name as operation for now. And the expression section, since you could see under the room type subtitle section, we have added the price of the room, right? So I'm going to select the subtitle, and I'm going to multiply this into the number of occupant that customer is selected. So I'm going to multiply this with the occupant. And this operation is going to be stored in this block variable. So once we perform the calculation, we can store the calculated amount in a variable for later use. Okay, so at this point, we perform the calculation. So now I'm going to display this calculated amount to my customer. For that, I'm going to use the info card. So I'm selecting the info card from the message block. I'm going to give the block name as display calculation. And I'm going to choose and I'm going to choose a card type as dynamic, since customer calculated information is going to be differ for each and every data. So, and then I'm going to add the message as please review or please view your total. Okay, now I have added this static message to it. To capture the customer's collected information, that is to capture the dynamic information, I can click on the drop down, and here you could see the operation block that we perform is available under the block variable section. So I'm going to use this. Okay, so within this message, I'm also going to show the type of room that customer is selected. So based on customer's interaction or based on customer's previous data, I will be able to choose the room type they have selected within the card info list section. So in this info list section, we can add the image of the product, the title, subtitle, and the other key fields you have added in it. So you could see here, I'm going to add the card name with the title that the customer is selected. And the image is going to be the image of the room. And the subtitle is going to be the subtitle of the room. And the description is going to be the description of the room they have selected. Okay, so now I'm going to store this information. Now let's see like what is the main difference between the static card and the dynamic card. So like in static card also, like we can add the details and we can collect the block variable and we can add the same in the message section. But here you could see the difference. In the dynamic card section, we will be able to capture the customer's data and we can embed the same over here. But in the static card section, here within the card list info section, we will be able to add only a fixed product details. I hope now you understand what is the main difference between a static card and a dynamic card. Okay, so at this point, customer as customer has made their selection and we display the order summary to it. The next step is we need to finalize their order. To do this, I'm going to use a button block with three clear options, that is confirm, edit, and send inquiry. So I'm going to add a button block now with the text type, and I'm going to add the button list as one for confirm, one for edit, and one for send inquiry. If the customer clicks confirm, we can proceed to checkout. And let's say if they pick edit, let's say the customer selects the independent room type, but suddenly they realize they need to change the type of room. So in this case, instead of restarting the conversation from the scratch, we can redirect them back to the room type block by using the jump block. So jump block allows us to move forward or backward within the same flow, or we can also jump between different flow to process the customer action, and then we can move on to the same flow again. So to determine the jump block, you can click on the jump block and you can give your block a name, and you can choose the current flow if the jumping is within the same conversation, and you can specify the target block. So in this conversation, the target block is going to be the room block. So once I have added the jump block section, I'm just going to save the data. Okay. Now let's say the customer click on send inquiry. In this section, I'm going to ask what type of query they do have. For that, I'm going to use a simple question block to ask the customer, that is, enter your query. And if they enter their query, I'm going to classify the query and I'm going to create a ticket in my Zoho Desk application. This is where the webhook block comes into a play. So basically, webhook block enable us to send or receive data to an external source such as third-party application or other Zoho apps. So using the webhook block, we will be able to seamlessly integrate the chatbot with other external application or with your other Zoho apps. So here we can send and receive data in real time using the API request. So if you want to automate data for better record keeping, you can go with this webhook block. So let's say like once the order is confirmed, if you want to capture the details, in case if you want to store this information into your Zoho Sheets or to your any other third-party application, you can go with the webhook block. For now, let's say how we can create a ticket in your Zoho Desk application using the webhook block. So I'm selecting the webhook block. I'm going to give a name for the webhook block as ticket creation. And here we can select the appropriate API method. So if you want to fetch the details from your external application or from your other Zoho apps, you can go with get. So if you want to update a detail, such as updating any information, you can go with patch or put. And in case if you want to create any information, you can go with post. For deletion, you can go with delete. So now I'm going to create a ticket, right? So for that, I'm heading over to my Zoho Desk API documentation. So in your Zoho Desk API documentation, under the ticket section, you will be able to view the create ticket API. So from this API, you could see the method for the ticket creation is going to be post. So you can select the API method as post, and in the URL section, I'm going to add the URL. That is, I'm going to add the API URL. And within the body section, we have to choose a format. So basically, Zoho APIs are completely based on JSON format. So JSON is nothing but it's a kind of map-like structure. So we have to provide a key and we have to provide a value to it. So you could see in the create ticket API documentation, there are three mandatory parameters. One is subject. So I'm copying the subject API name. I'm pasting the API name over the map. So basically, you have to understand like all the fields are going to be in the double quote. So in the subject, I'm going to add my customer enquiry to it. So within the double quote, I'm adding the customer enquiry. So once I have entered the subject, then the next mandatory parameter is going to be department ID. I'm capturing the department ID and I'm pasting the same in the key section. And for the value, we have to provide the department ID. And for that, I am heading over to my Zoho desk application. And I'm clicking the settings icon. And from here, I'm selecting the department. And you can click on the department that you want the ticket to create. And you can add the department ID here. And the same way, the other mandatory parameter for creating the ticket is going to be contact to whom we are creating the ticket. So here, we can either enter the contact ID or in case if you don't have the contact, because for each and every customer, the contact ID is going to be different. So instead of contact ID, we can also go with the email address of the customer. So within this double quote, I'm adding the email address. And I'm going to dynamically put the email address within the double quote field. Okay, so since we have construct the basic mandatory details, that is the subject, department ID, and the contact email address needs to be in this format. So once you have construct your JSON format, just click on save. The next step is we need to select the connection. So connection is going to be the authentication bridge between your Zoho desk and with your other external app or with your other Zoho apps. So I have created the connection here. And in case if you are unable to create, in case if you were unable to view your connection name here, you can simply click on add and you can create your connection by clicking on the create connection. And you have to choose the service as OAuth. Here, you can give your connection name and you can choose the scope. So now let's see like what is the scope for Zoho Desk API documentation to create a ticket. So to create a ticket, the scope is going to be desk.tickets.read. So I'm going to add the scope here. And once done, you can click on create. And once you create your connection is going to be reflect here. You can simply click on the refresh button. So you will be able to view your connection. Okay, so now I'm going to click the connection that I have already created. The format is nothing but, so as you could see in this JSON body, we write the script, right? So instead of writing the script in this JSON body, you can make use of the formatter to write the script. And once you write the script, you can just copy the format and embed the same in the JSON structure. Okay, now we have to process the response block. So this is nothing but when a ticket is created. So basically the response code for your Zoho Desk application is going to be 200. So whenever a ticket is created, this is the response code. So whenever a ticket is created, I'm going to capture the ticket number so that I'm going to be, I'm going to display this ticket number to my customer. So you could see the API name for the ticket number is going to be this. So I'm just copying this and I'm posting the same over here. And this is going to be single element. And I'm going to choose a data type as number. In this flow variable, you can add any variable based on your convenience. For now, I'm going to use this as ticket ID. So in the same way, in case if you want to, like once the ticket is created, if you want to dynamically capture the ticket number or any other ticket details, you can just simply select the API name and you can put the same over here and you can add multiple paths to it. Okay, so now we have added the webhook block. Once done, I'm just saving the information. So once the ticket is created, you could see if it's success, if the ticket is successfully created, it used to follow one path, or if there is any issue in the API, it is going to follow the other path. So once the ticket is created, I'm going to display this information to my customer. That is, ticket is successfully created. Along with this, I'm going to display the ticket ID to the customer. As you could see, the flow variable that we have defined as ticket ID, I'm going to add this ticket ID here. And once this is successfully done, I'm going to end the plot. Okay, so once we build an engaging guided conversation, this is how it used to look. So here you could see like we have used a variable called blog variable for most of the conversation flow here. But in guided conversation, other than the blog variable, we also do have three types of variable. That is local variable, global variable, and session variable. So local variable is nothing but it is going to be accessible only within the current guided conversation flow. So to access the local variable, you can simply click on the at variable, that is at icon that is available in the top left. And then you can add your local variable. You can give your variable a name and you can assign a value to it. So basically how this is going to work is if you do have any coupon or if you do have any discount and you want that to be applicable only for this flow, you can go like you can make use of the local variable. And other than the local variable, we also do have one more variable, that is global variable. So global variable is going to be accessible across entire guided conversation flow that you have created in your Zoho Desk application. So to access the global variable, under the self-service section, guided conversation, you do have the global variable. So here, this is typically a kind of static data. So if you want to store your company contact name, your brand slogan, or your company contact information, you can go with this global variable. And this is going to be applicable for all the guided conversation that you have created in your application. Okay. Other than the global variable, we also do have session variable. So session variable help us to capture the user specific information such as their name, email address, and phone number. The system itself is used to capture their information, and this is going to be applicable only to the current flow. So using these variables, so we can effectively enhance the user experience by making their conversation flow dynamic, personalized, and context aware. So once you have built an engaging guided conversation, the next step is to publish it so your customers can actually use it. So for that, I'm just clicking on the publish icon. So, okay. So far, we have published this. Here you could see like to publish the process, we need to make use of GC widget. GC widget is the interface that allows the user to, to interact with your guided conversation directly through your website or through other platform like WhatsApp, Telegram, iOS, Android, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, and even inline. Let's see how we can set up the GC widget in your Zoho Desk application. To set up the GC widget, click on the Create widget. So here, I have already reached the limit, so I just make use of the one that I have already created. So here we can, it seems to be loading, just stay connected. Okay. So this is how the GC widget used to look. So once we publish the process, we need to fetch the embed code, right? So for that, like this process used to come. So here we can, add multiple conversation flow, and here we can customize the widget that is going to appear to the customer. And once you have finalized everything, you can click on the share icon, and from here you will be able to fetch the embed code. So you can copy the embed code and you can paste the same in your website. So once you paste this, that is this embed code on your website, this is how the guided conversation looks. So this is how the guided conversation look in your website. So let me just refresh the page. So basically, this is going to follow a structured step-by-step process. So with this guided conversation, so once I have published, I will be able to view this in my website. So the customers will be able to easily interact with it. So that's how you can help handle customer-related queries efficiently. So it seems to be loading. I'll try to see like in the end of the session, like how the guided conversation work. For now, we'll just move on to see the other feature that we do have. Okay. So far we have seen like how a simple guided experience like the digital guide in our story can help handle customer related queries. But customer engagement, it's not just about solving problem, it also about engaging with new visitors who lands on your website. So this is where Zobot and Zoho Sales IQ takes the stage. So Zobot is used to interact with your visitor who lands on your website. So it is used to ask their queries, suggest product, and seamlessly handing off to a live agent when needed. So the beauty of Zobot is that it's fully programmable, but also offers low code and less code option. So whether you are a developer or a business user, there is a way for you to build it. Let's see how we can actually build a Zobot in your Zoho Sales IQ application. To do this, I am heading over to my Sales IQ application. And from here, I am clicking on the settings icon. And in the bot section, I'm selecting the Zobot. And here, I'm going to give a bot a name. So to add a new bot, you can simply click on the add new button and give your bot a name. So here you can give a bot a name, something it's going to, like something it is going to serve in the your end. So I'm going to just give this as Zilker1. And then you'll ask to choose a bot building platform. So Zoho Sales IQ offers three different platforms ranging from codeless bot builder to highly programmable ones. For now, I'm going to choose this as codeless bot builder and click on next. Then you can give your, now it's time to set up your profile. So here you can give a short, friendly description that your visitors will see to understand what the bot is here to help with. Then you can choose the brand and the channel that you'd like to deploy this bot. And you can also define the working hours for the bot. So it's going to active only during the specific times if needed. So once done, you can click on next. Next, we need to configure the bot audience and the behavior. So here we can define who the bot should engage with. So if you want the bot to assist all visitors who lands on your website, you can go with all visitor. Or if you want the bot to appear only under certain condition, let's say only on the product page, you can go with custom visitor and add your rule. Here under the page title section, I'm going to add this as product. So now the bot will only activate when the visitor lands on the product page. Then we can define when the bot should engage with. When a visitor lands on the website after an estimated time, or when they click on the chat widget, or even when they perform a custom action, like clicking a button or clicking a banner. Let's say if you do have any pay now button on your website, if you want the bot to proactively engage with your website visitor when they click on the pay now button, you can go with this feature. So you can choose the one that best suits for your business case. Now, if you want to make the conversation feel like more natural and human like, you can go with the response interval feature. This feature allows you to set a small delay between each message that the bot sends. Okay, but what happens if the visitors stop replying suddenly? This is where the response interval, that is the chat inactivity stream, comes in. So here we can define what the bot should do if the visitors stop replying. So by enabling the idle chat handling, here we have the option to set a custom message if there is no response for a while, or we can also end the chat with the customer after a certain time by setting the preferred time and the language here. So here we have the option to end the chat, forward the chat, or convert to missed chat if there is no response from your customer for a while. Let's say the customer asks something that is more specific, only a real person can handle. This is where the allow hands off to operator comes. So when you enable this feature, you have the option, that is the bot allows the visitor to, that is the bot used to directly connect the visitor to a live agent during the middle of the conversation if needed. And here we can also customize the content that gets shown to a visitor. Like instead of connect with a human, you can also customize this as talk to an expert. And in case if you don't want this feature to be shown outside of business hours, you just tick the box that say hide outside business hours. Also, enabling the forward option let you to customize the message when the bot hands the conversation over to a human operator. And once you have configured everything, click on create, and this action will take you directly to the bot building page where you can start designing a conversation flow, that is your codeless bot conversation flow. So here, unlike the components in Zoho Desk, Zoho Sales IQ also has three main components to configure the codeless bot builder. So here the components are cards, path, and variable. So cards is going to be the building block of your conversation. So this is going to interact with the user and take necessary action. Path defines the flow of the conversation based on user's choice, and it always starts from top to bottom. Then we do have variable. So variable is going to store and reuse the information that we collect from the customer during the conversation. Now, let's take a closer look at the heart of Zabot, that is cards. So here in Zoho Sales IQ, cards are classified into 7 different types, and each of these cards allows you to design your conversation flow, gather the information from the customer, or even we can perform powerful backend operation like without writing a single line of code. Now let's see how we can actually build our Zobot for Zilker's online service using these blocks. So like mostly to this store, customer reach out for product demo, general enquiry, or talk to sales. Now let's see how we can incorporate these scenario and this blocks over here. So whenever a customer start the conversation, the first thing we want to do is to greet them. Since the greeting card is already added here, if you want to make any customization, you can add the message. And if you want this to be dynamic, so instead of displaying a static message, if you want to add your visitor details to it, you can simply click on the percentage icon. This will help you to dynamically fetch the visitor information and the attender information and other key customer details. Okay, so once we greet the customer, the next step is we need to gather the visitor information, right? Such as their name or their email address. For that, I'm going to use the visitor information card. So, visitor information card allows us to capture basic visitor details, that is their email address or their name, phone, and other key basic information. For now, I'm going to capture the email address of my customer. So I'm going to give the name as email. And this is going to be stored in the visitor email field. So this is a static and a default field. So I'm just clicking on the save button now. Okay, so now we greet the customer. The next step is we need to understand what the customer needs, like whether they're looking for a product demo or they need a general enquiry or they want to talk to a sales. To understand the customer needs, I'm going to use the input card. So basically, input card allows us to interact with the customer on the front end. So with this input card, we will be able to capture, the text information from the customer, and we can capture the file upload details, and we can also add a button block to capture the customer needs. Now, to determine the customer needs, I'm going to use the button block. So here, I'm going to add a button block with a message of how can I assist you today? With three clear options. One is product demo, the other one is general inquiry, third one is going to be talk to a sales. Okay, so once the customer that is select the information, it is going to be stored in this variable. So unlike the guided conversation in Zoho Desk, like Zobot is also going to store the information, but here you could see like there are two types to store the information, that is save in visitor field, save in bot context. Both are going to serve the same purpose because both are going to store the information, but the main difference between save in visitor field and save in bot contact is, so if it's selected with save in bot contacts, it is used to make decision and perform action across flow. So I'm going to give the field name as product or product information. So bot context is going to store the information, and this is going to use this field across the entire block. And if it's selected with visitor field, this is going to use, so this field is going to capture the information, and this is going to use only in integrated services like Zoho CRM, Zoho Desk, or with your other third-party application. So using these blocks, if you are trying to push this information to your other third-party application or to your other Zoho apps, on that case, if you want this field information to be visible, or if you want this field information to be needed, you can go with the save in visitor field. And once done, you can click on save. So now we provided the choices for the customers to select. Let's say the customer select the option product demo. So at this time, we need to showcase a list of products to the customer to capture like what the customer needs, so they can choose the one that they are interested in it. So that I'm going to use the input crucial card. So this card is nothing but it's more like a visually rich card that include text, images, and button for the selection. So if you want to display multiple pieces of information to a single item or to a single product, you can go with the input crucial card. So here you can choose a card type. So if you want to display a fixed product detail, you can go with static card. So if you want to fetch and display dynamic product details, you can go with dynamic card. That is, if you want to fetch and display the product information based on real-time availability, you can go with dynamic card. And within the card list section, you can give the image for the product, the title, the subtitle, and the button type. That is the button text. So I have incorporated the same flow here. So here you could see I have added three options in the input crucial card, that is communication, CRM, and Zoho Desk. So these are the three services that the Zilker's online services, offering. So I have added three card properties here with the image, title, and the description. Okay, so once a customer selects their information, this is going to be stored in this product name variable. So at this point, we have successfully used some of the input card to engage the customer, gather their details, and guide them towards a decision. But what if you need to perform a back-end operation, such as sending an email, tagging a record, or forwarding this to an operator, or jumping from one flow to another flow? This is where action block comes in. So this action card allows us to send an email to a visitor or to an agent, or here we have the option to tag a record. And if you want to forward this chat to your live agent, you can go with this forward to operator. If you want to jump from one flow to another flow, you can go with this go to card. And other than these action, In case if you want to perform any other custom action, you can go with this plug cards. So plug cards allows us to connect this codeless bot building to your other external application to make the conversation make more seamless and friendly manner. So I have added the action card. These are the action card for now. So now let's see how we can incorporate some of these cards in the conversation flow. And so at this page, we provided the choices for the customers to select. But not every customer select the same option, right? Some customer may select CRM, some customer may select Zoho Desk. So we need to understand what the customer need. So to do this, I'm going to use a criteria router. So criteria router is going to create a multiple conversation flow based on customer's choice. So if they select CRM, it is going to follow one path. If they select Zoho Desk, it is going to follow another path. Let's see how we can add a rule now. So in the bot contacts variable, as you could see, the product variable, that is the product name variable we have added is available. I'm selecting this and I'm going to uh, enter the value as CRM. So if they select CRM, it is going to follow one path. And I'm going to add one more rule. That is, if they select Zoho Desk, it is going to follow another path. And in case if both the conditions are not matched, then it is going to follow a third path. So now that we help the customer to choose a product, so in this case, we need to display the details to them. So they have let's say if they have selected CRM, we need to provide a tailored experience to them. For that, I'm going to make use of the response card. So response card allows us to share the details to the customer. So with this card, we will be able to share the articles, videos, share link, send message, and other than these action. In case if you want to showcase a multiple list of items in a more interactive manner, you can go with the display card. So here you can add the image, title. It's not like a kind of button thing. So it is going to showcase the information to the customer. So for now, I'm going to share the article to the customer. For that, I'm going to use the share article from the response card. So here you can choose the article that is added in your Zoho Sales IQ application. And once done, you can click on save. And once I have shared the article, I'm going to take this step one step further to ask the customer, like, would you like to schedule a live demo with our agent? So for that, I'm going to make use of the button card with two clear options. That is yes and no. I'm going to add the question is, would you like to schedule a call with this? Let's say if they select the option S, so it is going to follow a different path. So if they select the, okay, so this is a single choice button. So if they select S, I'm going to book an appointment with the customer. So for that, I'm going to use the integration card. So integration card allows us to seamlessly connect this codeless bot builder with your other Zoho apps or with your other external application. So since I have already integrated my Zoho bookings with my Zoho Sales IQ application, this book an appointment card is available. So I'm going to use this card to book an appointment with the customer. So here I'm going to choose the appointment type as service, and I'm going to select the service as local guide. And once done, I'm clicking on save. So this allows the customer to book an appointment based on their convenient time. So once the appointment is booked, this is going to store the information in Zoho Bookings application. So once the appointment is successfully completed, I'm going to end the conversation. For that, I'm going to use the end card. So which allows us to gracefully end the conversation based on customer's response. So here the end card is classified into two more types. One is block visitor and busy response. So if you notice that if your visitor is spammy, or if your visitor is spammy or abusive and you don't want them to contact your support again, you can go with block visitor. And so this option is used in case if there is no agent in your organization is available. If you want to inform the visitors that no one is available and someone will get back to you as soon as possible, you can go with busy response. For now, I'm going to use the standard end chat option to end the conversation gracefully with a thank you message or with a summary of the conversation. So once done, I am clicking on save. And in the same way, let's say if the customer asks if they have a general enquiry. So in this scenario, we might not need to transfer the chat to a live operator. Instead, what we can do is we can try to answer the customer queries using an AA block. So this is where the AA block in Zoho Sales IQ comes. So here the AA block is classified into two types. One is Chat GPT, the other one is Answer Bar. So both are going to serve the same purpose. So both are going to answer the customer queries based on the articles or based on the knowledge base that is fed into the system. For now, I'm going to use the answer bot. So answer bot uses Zoho Sales IQ's AI engine to respond the customer query based on the article, FAQs, and the knowledge base that are fed into the system. So here you can choose the source for your bot's answer either from your Zoho Sales IQ resources or from your Zoho desk resources. So once you add the information, you can click on save. And in case if the article, let's say the customer asks a question like how to reset your password or what is your company's business as, the answer bot is going to find that is going to pick the answer, pick the question and find the most relevant response, and it is going to serve to the customer. And in case if the answer bot failed to respond it, in that case we have the option to forward this to an operator. So that's how you can uh, you know create an engaging flow for your Zobot. So I have created the same. So once you build an engaging flow in your Zobot application, you can publish it. So once you publish this, when you navigate to your website, so the Zobot is going to instantly engage with the customer based on the criteria that we have designed. So it is going to and it is going to ask a structured step-by-step question. So based on this, customers will be able to find the answers effortlessly. So to that is once you publish this, basically you have to embed this code on your website. To do this, you can navigate to your Zoho Sales IQ application, and under the personalized section, you do have the brands. So you can select the brand and click on the installation and select the platform that you would like to deploy this bot and copy this code and embed the same on your website. So it helps your customer to easily engage with your chatbot, and they will be able to get a prompt response as soon as possible. So before ending the session, I just want to inform you one thing. So this feature isn't just about the chatbot automation. This is going to be the future of customer engagement. So because in today's world, every lost customer is going to become a lost opportunity. But with the right digital click, every click can become a lasting conversion. So that's all for today's session. I hope this overview is going to serve a better purpose for your business use case. You can try configure the same in your end. And in case if you do have any further queries, you can also reach out to us and we'll try to help you for your request. And thank you all for staying connected.
Thank you so much, Saraswati, for a wonderful session indeed. I am sure our attendees would have found it helpful. And thanks, CJ, for promptly helping us with the Q&As. I see all questions have been answered. Um, since we have come to the end of the session, we will wind the session up with a quick announcement. And also a big thank you to all our attendees for sticking till the end. If you get any more questions, you can write to our support team at the mentioned support email. Yes, Jude, we will be sending the recording to you once we conclude the session. So when you watch the recording, if you do get any questions, do write to our support team. The folks there will be able to sort it out for you. So moving on to the announcements quickly. So yes, I will be dropping two separate links. So you can check out all of our previous webinars and our upcoming webinars in our webinar page, Zoho One webinar page. I have shared the link down right here under the Q&A tab. And aside from this page, we will also be sending you email newsletter every month, either in the first week of the month or in the last week of the month. You can keep tabs on the these email invites every month. And one important thing is we've got our One Up workshop this year as well. We have wrapped up two sessions in the APAC region successfully. The second link over there in the Q&A tab, you can click on that to get to learn more about what we offer in these workshops, and you can get yourselves registered. Generally, we have limited seats for workshops. And also, we have a dedicated support team for the workshop. So, any questions you may have regarding the workshop as such, you can direct all those questions to the email address that I've mentioned there. It's workshop@zohoone.com. And like I said earlier, with regards to this webinar, if you've got any questions when you watch the recording, please do write to our support team. The team will sort it out for you. So that is it from me today. I hope I get to catch up with you all next Wednesday on yet another webinar. Saraswati will be the speaker for that webinar as well. So do register for that, and I get to see you. I hope I get to see you the next Wednesday, same timings. And that is it for now, everyone. Thank you so much. Um, I will be ending the session once people are able to take notes. So probably I'll give it a minute or so. Thank you. Yes, Langa, we will be sending the recording to you once we conclude the session right now. So I believe you guys were able to take notes. Thank you so much for your time and for your patience. And thanks, team, for all the efforts put behind this. I am ending the session right now. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.